I call the member for Hornsby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Every Saturday through the winter months, the parks in my electorate of Hornsby are filled with kids playing and enjoying soccer. We have a number of wonderful local soccer clubs that I'm proud to represent, none more so than the Hills Hawks. The club is based at Galston and has over 500 registered players and is celebrating 50 years of football this year. It's an impressive milestone and I'm pleased to be able to take this opportunity to congratulate them here in the chamber. The club started in 1969 following a conversation between some mums at Galston shops about how they wanted to place a place for their kids to play sport. One of those mums was Lee Cars, and her husband John who had played soccer for many years. They went to the Hills District Memorial Club, who had recently set up a sports and social club to foster activities in the local area. With growing support from local families who didn't want their boys playing rugby league, the first Galston soccer team was established. They decided to join the local soccer competition, the Gladesville Hornsby Football Association, which is the same association the club still plays in today. The first committee was made up of Hans Mature, John Cars and Don Johnson. They put out a call to local kids as well as knocking on doors in the neighbourhood to sign kids up to the team. They managed to put together 4 teams that first year. Many of the teams didn't know much about soccer. Most just did it for the fitness or fun. Jeff Williamson, who played in the first under-10 teams, said their team didn't do too well at first, but it didn't take long for them to get the hang of it. In true Galston style, his team had a pony as their mascot. Penny, she was called, would wear the club strip of green and gold and lead the team out for the coin toss. While they didn't have the greatest start, all 4 teams ended up doing pretty well, finishing runners-up in their respective premierships. The club is now up and running, and the second year the club saw 60 registered players sign up. Local duck farmer Harry Williamson took over as president in 1972. He would hold 4 trainings a week, and if something had to be cancelled, his wife Lenny would ring each and every player to let them know. How she would have enjoyed the ease of text messages and WhatsApp groups like we have today. By the 80s, the club was fielding first grade sides and had produced many representative players. They also had a number of coaches who earned their accreditation through the Australian Soccer Federation. 1984 saw the first ever gala day, which realised over $1,000 to purchase new gear for their teams. And it was also the first year they fielded a Premier League team. A sense of community is something I love about the area of Galston, and it shows through the dedicated group of volunteers at Hills Hawks. From the start, they've had the backing of the community and the support of hard-working volunteers. In the 90s, they decided to invest in their volunteers by paying for coaches to be accredited. This idea saw over 20 coaches go through the training, and boy did it pay off, because in 1995, with 5 premiers and 5 champions in the one season. Currently, the hard-working volunteer committee is headed up by President Ian Robertson, and he is supported by Peter Grocott, Robert Annabelle, Richard Breitneck, Jodie Fraser, Ben Dixon, James Catrona, Michael Coffey, Melissa Thompson, Karen Robertson, Carolyn Dawson, Georgina Hillman, Tracy Salmon, Chris Childs, Adam Smith, Mark Hickson, Anna Carolina, and Lucas Perina. The club also has a number of life memberships awarded to those volunteers who have gone above and beyond. Jeff Bartlett, Harry Williamson, Beryl Peebles, Jim Jupe, Ian Marriott, Ian Kerr, Ken Darcy, Mike Donoghue, Paul Thomas, Sue Chisanotti, Kelvin Reardon, Gary Callahan, Colin Mumm, Steve Howlett, Greg Peebles, Julie Peebles, Joe Basher, Jeff Williamson, John Ross, Greg Freeman, Michael Rosier, Deborah McGranna, Michael Coffey, Debbie Freeman, Monty Edwards, Stephen May, Barry Pike, Alf Galano, Tullio Forestry, Ray Saguna, Peter Thompson and Louise Saguna. I'd like to congratulate the Hills Hawks on an amazing 50 years. To every volunteer who's helped coach a team, work on the committee or ref a game, thank you sincerely. And to each and every player, I hope you have worn your green and gold with pride. You have a wonderful 50-year history, and I've no doubt there are another 50 great years ahead in the future. Go the Hawkies.
No, electoral.